Today's episode is going to be very different. I am
living God's light.
Welcome back to the Living God's Light podcast. Today's episode is going to be very different. And let me explain, because I am without my cohorts today. And there is a very important reason for that. So I talked to Lynn and Vinnie, and I shared with them this new idea I had, and they said, run with it, go record what you need to record, and let's get our community involved. So let me get into a little bit of the backstory. Living God's Light started because of Vinnie's near-death experience. And still, if you have not yet read A Light After Death, this book has transformed my life, Alan's life, Lynn's life, so many more lives. And Vinnie obviously needed to go through that experience and then come back with a big job to do. And so we have Living God's Light, right? It all started because of that. And on this podcast, we feel like it's very important to highlight more near-death experiences because of the connection with Vinnie's experience and, the incredible, miraculous thing that near-death experiences are. And the podcast really jumped in mid-building Living God's Light. So here we are trying to build Living God's Light, and we started a podcast, and it's evolved over time. So when you're building something, it continues to evolve, and that is what is happening even now. So the thought process in having near-death experiences on the Living God's Light podcast was to highlight more stories like Vinnie's, and then have Vinnie, cross compare, and then us explore and learn more from their experience. Like, how do we take that near-death experience and apply the lessons to our life? Because Vinnie and his experience had very clear lessons that needed to be taught. And so we're trying to bridge and have those conversations, but we feel like there's a really important piece missing in that. In the comments, often I see, I wish I had a near-death experience. In other videos, comments, I see, I wish I had a near-death experience. And I think the takeaway or the feeling that comes from is, man, they just gained so much spiritual insight. I want to gain that too. The reality is we are not all going to have a near-death experience. They estimate, this was from the IONS website, okay? The percentage of population that has had a near-death experience, here's the short answer: somewhere between 4 and 10% of the general population of Earth have had a near-death experience. I don't know about you, but I don't fall into that category. I think there is a large population that is being affected by these near-death experiences. And it's actually been studied that if you do listen to near-death experiences, then you gain a lot of the benefits that near-death experiencers gain, like less fear of death, more intentional living, more love in your life, more purpose. There's just a myriad of things that are happening to people by listening to these near-death experiences. This brings me to the point of this episode. We are hoping to expand the conversation of Living God's Light and the spiritual experiences that are happening beyond just the near-death experience. I don't want to take away the importance of the near-death experience, because I believe that each one that we've had on this podcast have altered me in some way. They've been incredible guests, and I've felt the love in their hearts. I've been able to meet each one of them, at the IONS conference, and it is confirmed to me that they are beautiful beings that have incredible stories to share. But what is happening beyond them? Scott Drummond came on and he's had over 25 million views on one of his videos. That is 25 million lives that have heard his story and have potentially been impacted by it. What is happening in those lives? And I am a living proof of hearing a near-death experience and gaining a completely different trajectory of my life. I mean, I feel like I was already set up for the path that I was about to take, but it was like the creator shifted me 45 degrees from where I was at and just put me in a completely different line than where I was going. It has felt like a whirlwind shift. It has been insane that I'm on this podcast. It's been insane that I met the guy that died in the body bag. So many things have happened since I heard Vinnie's experience that I can't deny that the other side has impacted my life because of hearing it. Here is the point of this episode. If you have been transformed by a near-death experience, it can be Vinnie's or it can be another person's incredible story. We want to hear from you. Maybe you have lost loved ones and have been in deep grief and have been able to be comforted and take steps forward in your life. Maybe the other side has started communicating with you because you have listened to these near-death experiences, and maybe your life has been radically transformed because you can feel the awareness of the other side and you have gained more purpose, more sense of self, more intentionality. We want to hear from you. And maybe you are near death yourself and you no longer fear what's coming because you've been able to listen to these near-death experiences and be comforted by them for what's coming next for you and just have a confidence and knowing of where you're going. Your story matters too. And sometimes I think we get caught up in the sensational miraculousness of a near-death experience, especially somebody like Vinnie, who was pronounced dead, put in a body bag, on his way to the morgue, and comes back to life. But it's time we also explore the person that was just struggling through regular life struggles and was able to come out of it. I am one of those people, and maybe this is a call for my soul to meet your soul and tell your story, because I'm here to tell you that it does matter. Your story can also impact others. Our call of help today is we want to expand the conversation and we want to hear your story if you've been impacted by a near-death experience, or if you know somebody who's been impacted by a near-death experience who's willing to share their experience on the podcast. Or if you are a near-death experiencer and know somebody who has been transformed by your story, maybe they're close to you, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's just a distant friend. But if their life has been altered because of hearing your story, we want to hear from you and we want to hear from them. Maybe separately, maybe it's an opportunity we have to have a conversation together. We don't know. This thing is still expanding, and we are so grateful that you have been with us as we have changed and tried to take inspiration from the other side and listen to the guidance that we're supposed to be taking with this podcast. It's growing, it's changing, and we appreciate you allowing us to explore these different areas. The spotlight has been focused on near-death experience, and it's been wonderful. It's been beautiful, but we just want to expand that conversation. I will always be a firm believer that everybody has a story. Everybody has something to learn from. I know that I can glean something off of your story. Spiritual transformation is happening all the time. It's happening everywhere, even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes when you look outward into the world. It still is happening. And so if we can expand that light, we are all in for it. I can confidently say this on behalf of the Living God's Light team. We are so grateful that you have been here. We're so grateful that you have taken the chance to listen to us. We know you have a million options, and we are just so grateful that you choose to listen to Living God's Light and to participate with us. So There is information in the description on how to connect with us, how to be featured on our podcast. I know it can be scary, but I do promise that if you feel the pull, your story is worth sharing. And it doesn't have to be connected to Vinnie's near-death experience. It can be connected to any near-death experience that you've heard. If it's transformed your life, we want to hear from you. We look forward to hearing from you. We love you. And thank you so much for being part of the Living God's Light family.